Welcome to Kandidly Keoshia, where positivity meets real talk. I'm your host, Keoshia, here to share my unfiltered stories, life lessons, and a whole lot of laughs. Get ready for straight talk, real laughs, and no filters. It's like chatting with your best friend who knows just how to lift your spirits. So tune in now and let's keep it real together. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Kandidly Keoshia. I'm your host, Keoshia Kennard. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode today. If you've been following me along in my growth series, you already know we've been on a journey together. We started off with my introduction podcast, how I became a teenage mother, left college, and faced some real life challenges. And we also got into how I worked my way back from going to community college to eventually earning my degree and not letting the doubts of others define me. And then in the second episode, we talked about overcoming challenges, and I dealt with turning tough times that were a setback into a comeback. Next, we went on to our third episode, which talked about fixing your environment, letting you guys know that the people and the places around you can either lift you up or tear you down. And y'all know I had to get myself together in that episode because, baby, the people was peopling. And then at the last week's episode, we talked about forgiveness. Not that forgiveness is a choice and that it is for you and not for others. Forgiveness is not something meant to make other people feel better, but to give you peace. And it's something that you had to do in order to be able to move forward in life. All right, now that we've laid the groundwork, it's time to come back to the most important part of this journey, and that is you. Yes, you. This episode is called Girl, Work on Yourself, because we all know at the end of the day, nobody can do the work but you. So let's dive into how to take responsibility for your growth, and believe me, it's going to get real. All right, you guys, so before we dive deep into it, you know we got to start with a little fun icebreaker. And I love to come up with these questions, but if you guys have any questions that you want to submit for the icebreaker, make sure you use the hashtag Kandidly Keoshia on social media, Instagram, in the comments, wherever. And let's get the conversation going. But the icebreakers, I would love to see what questions you guys would like for me to answer. Today's question is, if you had to switch careers completely and money didn't matter, time didn't matter, what would you switch your career to? So for me, y'all know I love to read, and I feel like I don't have enough time to read. I don't have enough time to actually indulge in the books like I used to. And so if I could switch my career today and money and time didn't matter and I could actually be good at it, I would be an author. Yes, I would switch my career to writing books. Yes, thrillers, suspense, some fantasy. Sometimes I like a couple of fantasy, but I'm more of a thriller, murder mystery type girl. I definitely would be a suspense author. Like some of my favorite authors are like John Sanford, Patricia Cornwell, Robert Dugani, James Patterson, John Sanford. I think I said John Sanford twice. I can't remember. But anyway, those are the type of books that I want to write. Like, I am really into suspense. And then who was the person who wrote is it The Housemaid? The Housemaid series? Man, that girl knows she can write. Well, that woman knows she can write. And if I could write like that, baby, I would have a good time. I know it's probably stressful trying to come up with the plots and the stories and the twists and the turns, but if I could be an author, y'all, I literally would sit in my house and just write all day long and go on book tours and talk about books. And that's why I'm in a book club now, because I love to read, even though I don't read as much as I should be lately, but that's another story. And so one of my favorite mugs, actually one of my subscribers got me, it's called Bookmarks Are for Quitters. So it's basically like you're supposed to read the book until you can't read no more. I have bookmarks, unfortunately, because, I can read, but I'm a very slow reader. I like to dive into my books and just get into the mystery and see if I can figure it out. So I don't like to read really, really fast, but one of my subscribers got me this, so that's what got me thinking about today's icebreaker question, because I was drinking out of my book mug today, and I was like, ooh, I wonder if I can make an icebreaker question around this. So that's my icebreaker question. Let me know on social media using the hashtag Kandidly Keoshia, what would be your career if you could change it today and money and time did not matter? All right, so let's get into today's episode. So like I said, if you want to see growth in your life, it has to start from within. And I'm not talking about like this crazy, like superficial work where you just show on the outside everybody that you're okay, you fake it and make it for the cameras and for the people and for the Instagram and all those places and the YouTube. I'm talking about the really deep dive, uncomfortable work that nobody else sees. The work that you're behind closed doors, snot nose, in your pajama, hair look a mess, praying to God, listening to music, just diving deep into the work and looking at you inside, all the good, the bad, the ugly, the great. And trust me, I've been there. Y'all remember me talking about me being in my room, being mad that everybody said I was going to be statistic, that I was never going to finish college, and I was feeling so down, and I believed them, and I felt so defeated. And y'all remember on that floor in that bedroom that day, I made a decision to do the work. I made the decision to dive deep and work on me and focus on me. And that made all the difference because I had to get real with myself. I had to stop waiting for somebody else to come and fix me, or for some magic moment to happen, or from some little fairy tale stuff that you see on TV. Because I was very much back in the day so naive, thinking that, oh, everything will work out. Everybody's going to help me. My baby daddy is going to be the greatest. His mom's going to be great. My mom's going to be great. My family's going to be so supportive. And that just wasn't what it was. And when it wasn't that, I felt some type of way. I felt defeated, devastated, and I felt like I was going to fail. And that was like one of my biggest fears. I'm very much a planner, and I love to achieve whatever it is that I'm planning. And if I can't achieve what I'm planning, it hits me hard. I'm in therapy for it now because I still have that problem, and I talk to my therapist about it all the time. And I'm just like, I just plan this stuff out and it don't work, and I just be so upset, y'all. Like, I be upset, like mad at myself, not others. Like, why didn't you do better? Why didn't you try harder? And I have to understand that sometimes it takes the deep work, me looking at the situation, how I handle it, what I could have did better, and moving forward. So I had to realize that there was no magic moment coming where everything would fall in place. There was no, oh my God, they're going to save me. They're going to be the best person. They're going to do everything I want them to do. They're just going to be perfect. I had to start working on myself because that moment was never coming. Them people weren't coming. It was me, myself, and I, and my son. Okay, that's 4 people. Be myself, I, and my son. Like, nobody was coming. There was nothing. I realized that if I wanted different, if I wanted to be different, do different, have different, I had to start working on myself. I had to start doing the deep work within Keoshia. And you know, that's a hard thing to do. Looking at yourself and judge. I've already judged myself hard anyway, but really diving deep into the root of the problem or the root of the situation can be scary. But I had no more excuses. There was no more excuses for me to make. No more blaming my circumstances on other people. No more blaming my circumstances on this. No more blaming my circumstances on that. At the end of the day, that is what I needed to deal with. And the shift had to happen from within me. And when I tell y'all that it wasn't easy, ooh, child, looking at yourself in the mirror sometimes is not easy. Y'all know that looking in that mirror, y'all don't want to look and y'all don't want to see and you don't want to remember. But it's worth it in the end to do the work now than to suffer the consequences later. Because if I didn't look back into me, if I didn't work on me, if I didn't focus on me, I definitely 100,000% can say at this moment that I would not be where I am today. Because people who push their problems aside, blame them on other people, and never take accountability, you can spot them from a mile away. Everything's everybody else's fault. Nothing's ever their fault. If they forgot to pay their light bill, well, you should have reminded me. Well, we sent you an email. Well, you didn't make the email loud enough. Oh, and then you made the email loud enough. But then you didn't tell me my bank account. And then you didn't tell me this. And then just every little excuse in the world instead of saying, I apologize. I forgot to pay the light bill. We're just going to pay the late fee and keep it moving. It's people who just have to argue down their excuses, their reason why things didn't go the way they should have. Instead of looking in the mirror, looking in the mirror at yourself and saying, hey, am I the problem? Is it me or is it really them? Now, sometimes it is other people, but still at the end of the day, even if it's other people, You are the one with the problem and you have to fix it. Because they don't care. It ain't their problem. They don't care if you had to pay a late fee. They don't care if they didn't notify you. They don't care if they made a mistake. They do not care. How many times have you ever gone to a store and something is supposedly supposed to be on clearance? Because I've been through this before and it ain't clearance. I learned, because I used to argue up and down, it's on clearance, everything else on there is on clear, blah, blah. I finally had to learn to just say, hey, if it's not on clearance like I thought it was, are you going to buy it or aren't you? They don't care if it's supposed to be on clearance. They ain't finna go look it up. They ain't finna figure it out. Either you're going to pay for the item for full price or you're just going to leave it at the store. That's your two options. And I had to learn that it was a me problem. Yes, maybe the store messed up, and yes, maybe, something happened. But at the end of the day, the store is there to make money. The employees are there to get a paycheck, and they don't really care about your problems. So at the end of the day, I had to make a decision. Am I going to buy this item at full price or am I not? Now, sometimes it's good I buy it at full price. I be mad, though, but I'm going to buy it at full price. But other times, I just put it back. I'm like, it's not worth it. Like, I don't want to pay full price. I thought it was on clearance. This is not what I want to pay for it. Put it back. It ain't meant to be. It ain't worth my time or my energy or getting upset. And that took a long time for me to do that. Because like I said, I'm a stickler for right is right. But other people are not that way. So I had to do the deep work within me to realize that other people are not going to see situations the same way I see them. And they're not going to think them as important or needing to be fixed the way I think they should be fixed. So I have to make a decision on my actions and my thought process on how I want that situation to turn out. I could have left that store, argued down, got a manager, spent 50 minutes for them to still tell me they weren't going to mark it down. At the end of the day, my mom is such a good example of this. Let me tell you, my mama is so funny, y'all. Like, so she tells me all the time, she's like, yeah, I'll go into Walmart and I'll have a basket full of groceries. And she said, I get in there and they got one cashier and then they tell me I got to check myself out. She said, I leave that basket right there. Groceries and all. I ain't put nothing back. Here your basket. I'm finna go to a store who got enough cashiers to check me out. And I was like, Mom, but you could have just checked your outfit. She's like, why? I don't work at Walmart. I don't want to check myself out. Now, me, I don't mind checking myself out. But at the end of the day, she's done the work within herself to know that she is not a person who wants to check herself out. She does not work for Walmart. They don't pay her to check herself out. So she's going to go somewhere where people have checkout people. It may cost her a little bit more, she may have to go up the street, but she's like, I'm not finna check myself out. I'm an elderly lady. I want to go through the line, have this lady check me out, bag my groceries, give her my money, and head out to my car. I am not finna do all that. So if they don't have enough cashiers and it's only open for the self-checkout, I ain't getting no groceries. I'm leaving the basket there. I ain't putting nothing back, and I'm out. She don't think twice about it. I said, Mom, you just gonna leave the people basket all day? Because she said they should have more cashiers. Man, when I say my mom be having me so weak sometimes, but she's making a valid point. She made a decision for herself that I'm not dealing with this. She could have got a manager. She could have went to the cashier and told him to call more people. She could have said, I need somebody to check me out. She could have did all these things, but she said to have peace in mind and to not be stressed out about going groceries, she leaving that basket right there. If they ain't got no cashiers, and she going to a store that's going to accommodate her the way she wants to be accommodated. And baby, I be laughing so hard. Like, Mom, you just messed up all them people groceries. She's like, I don't care. They should have some cashiers. It is what it is. And I be like, Mom, my mom be tripping me out, y'all. She be tripping me out. She's like, I don't care. But that's her doing the work. She's like, I used to try to check out the groceries. I used to try to do all that stuff, but it just takes too long and I don't want to do it. And then they have crappy bags and they'll run out of bags. So she had it in her mind to say, hey, it's not worth it for me. I know what type of person I am. I've looked in the mirror and said, I don't want to be a Walmart cashier today. And I'd be like, hey, I ain't with you. And so now I have actually adopted that. Like, I think I went to, I don't know where I went the other day. I went the other day. And I felt so bad, but I was like, you know what? If my mama can do it, I can do it too. I went somewhere and they didn't have no cashier. And the line was long. And I was like, yeah, I can't do it. Like, I just came in here to get a couple things. Like, I'm not finna do this. And this was a place that don't have self-checkout, so you would have had to wait in line. The perfect example is the Dollar General up the street from my house. They literally only have one cashier, and they always have the longest line. And I always be like, forget it. I didn't need them damn snacks anyway. Your ass shouldn't have been up there getting snacks anyway, Keoshia, is why they ain't got nobody alive. So I see it now as a positive thing. Like if I go up there and I'm having a snack attack and I want candy or whatever, I'm like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't get this candy. Maybe it was a sign from God or whomever that I ain't need no candy. I didn't need to be up at night eating Funyuns and sweet tarts and and drinking a damn soda. So put that shit back and take your ass home. There's been plenty of times. And I don't even get mad no more. I be like, yeah, 1 minute they be, so I'll go home and I'll just drink me some water and go to bed. Like, these are the decisions I made to have peace in my life. Because like I said before, I would have got upset. Where's the rest of your cashiers? Why y'all ain't got no cashier? Why every time we come here? Like, that is not necessary. It's not necessary. So that is me working on myself. That is me changing my thought process. That is me not blaming the store and everybody else for why I feel, inconvenienced. Because at the end of the day, if I wanted to be convenienced, I would have got up earlier, went to the store, got the snacks, and didn't get it late at night when I was already irritated, sleepy, and I was hungry. You know what I'm saying? So you have to think about the circumstances of when you're doing stuff, because at the end of the day, most of the time it ain't the other person, it's you. So if you work on yourself and you control yourself and your thoughts and your emotions and the way you act, nothing anybody can do can make you do different. I'm still working on that. Like I said, I'm in therapy now about it, because I'm definitely somebody who has, unfortunately, the thought process that everybody should treat me the way I treat them. And that's something that's hard for me to understand. And doing that deep work makes me very emotional, makes me very angry and upset. And I'm always talking to my therapist. I'm like, oh, I was at work day and did this and I did this and then and she like, yo, at the end of the day, you can only do what you do. If they didn't do it the way you want to do, there's nothing you could do about it. Why are you getting upset? Why are you letting them ruin your day? And that is the deep work that I am doing. And that's the deep work you have to do. So you have to think about it in a different perspective. Now, I know I got off the tangent, so let's get back on track. I'll do that more times than not, but it's okay because it's all relevant. When I decided to go back to school, you guys, I had a full-time job, a child, and responsibilities pulling me in every direction, but I had made a decision. I was going to work on myself, and I set clear, actionable goals, and I said, Keoshia, you are going to earn your degree. You're going to finish college and you're going to get your degree. Whether it's in accounting, whether it's in something else or whatever, this, that, and the other, you are going to do it no matter how long it takes. And y'all, it took me a long time to get my degree. Like, sometimes I'm so embarrassed about how long it took me to get an associate degree and then get a bachelor's degree and then get my master's. Like, this was over like a decade or 2 or 3. Like, no, I'm exaggerating, but it was a very, very long time, you guys, for me to get my degrees. But I made a choice. I said, if I want to achieve this, then you have to make a decision that no matter how long it takes, no matter how embarrassed you is, no matter how long people said you still in school, damn girl, you still taking classes, you're going to get your degree no matter how long it takes. And guess what? I did it. It took me a very long time, like I said, but I did it because I put in the work. I worked on myself. I talked to myself. I told myself that nobody is going to deter you from this goal. Nobody's going to shame in you for taking so long to get it. Nobody's going to talk about you for, taking classes here, not taking a class there, waiting 2 semesters, doing whatever I needed to do, but never giving up, never stopping. Because I had to stop and start college several times to the point where I was like, is it even worth it anymore? But then I would remember back in that day when I was pregnant in that room, had a full-time job and a child, I made a decision. Keoshia made a decision. You told yourself that you was going to get your degree no matter how long it took. So there ain't no quitting. But it wasn't all about school. It was about developing myself as a woman, as a mother, and as someone who wasn't going to let life challenges define me. I stopped waiting for the validation of others. I stopped waiting for the approval of others. I stopped listening to other people's naysaying. I stopped listening to what people said I couldn't do. And I started trusting myself. I started putting in the work to uplift me, to motivate me, to instill confidence in me. Because nobody else could do that. Nobody else could plant those things in me like I can plant them in myself. Because once you plant them in yourself, once you instill those stuff in yourself, by yourself, nobody can take that away. Nobody can take that away. We all know, and I've been here before, you've had men who say, oh, you're absolutely gorgeous, you're beautiful, you're amazing, I love you, blah, 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 blah. And then say you get married and 3 years down the line, you have 2 kids and you get overweight. Your confidence can be crushed by that man when he says, oh, you gained weight after the kids, you don't look like you used to look when you was younger. But if you had confidence from the get-go, that man can't tell you nothing. I'm fine as all outdoors, and you can't tell me shit. Okay? Okay. Because the confidence started with you. His telling you you was beautiful was just an addition to what you already knew. It didn't set the foundation of you being beautiful or thinking that you was beautiful. And I had to learn that hard, y'all. But that's a whole nother story, y'all. Whole nother story. Even to this day, I've gone through several sizes. And I've had confidence, lacked confidence, got it back, and all those kind of things. But what I've noticed is it's quicker for me to get that confidence back when I believe it myself versus when somebody else tells me it. So you have to start trusting yourself and start, talking to yourself nice. Don't talk to yourself dirty. Don't talk to yourself negatively. Don't talk down to yourself. Lift yourself up. At the end of the day, I tell my daughter all the time, you don't need no man to tell you you're pretty. You're gorgeous regardless. You don't need to tell nobody you're smart. You're smart regardless. Stop looking for validations in others. You can do and be and exude anything you want to. Because my daughter is very much a person who is not a people pleaser, but what do you call it? Somebody who wants a lot of friends, a lot of attention, a lot of people around them, a lot of people to boost her and give her a compliment. And I told her doing that will always get you disappointed because nobody's going to give you a compliment like you will. Even when you think you're the finest girl and you're so pretty and you did all your makeup, somebody might not even tell you you're pretty that day. But as long as you know you're pretty, as long as you know you did the damn thing, as long as you know you're gorgeous, it don't even matter. Just walk around like everybody named mama don't told you you're gorgeous today. And that's me helping her put in the work because she's still young. She's only 18 and, she hasn't been through a lot. And so boosting and helping her with her self-confidence is one of the things that I'm trying to help her with because I didn't have that. It took me a very long time to talk nice to myself, talk pretty to myself, tell myself that I'm worth these things that I want to get, I want to have, and what I exude. So back to the podcast. I know I just be all over, but this is just something that really resonates with me, you guys, because, it's so important for people to work on themselves and uplift themselves and motivate themselves and look deep in and do that work, that hard work, that ugly, messy work in order to become the best version of themselves. And it's very hard for people to do. Like I said, I talk to my therapist all the time and she's like, Keoshia, you're so self-aware. She's like, you be doing these things. I say, yeah, and that's the problem. I know I be doing these things, but yet I still do them. I said, so that's the problem. So sometimes I do things that are good and it don't matter. But then there's other times where I do stuff that's negative, impacts me and makes in telling myself negative thoughts and negative sayings and putting this negativity on my own self. And that's where I'm telling her I'm aware that I'm doing it, but I need the help to stop. I need the help to move forward, to move past that. And that's putting in the work. A lot of people don't like therapy. This is actually my first year going to therapy. I started in January and I love my therapist, baby. I love her to death. I can come in my pajamas with my head looking nappy, teeth not brushed, dressed up, dressed down, at work, in the car. She don't care. We laugh, we cry, we talk, we do the deep work together, but she also helps me do my deep work by myself. Because once again, she's helping me. She's not here to validate. She's not here to put in the work for me. She's helping me get the work done by helping me motivate myself and talk nice to myself and stop with the negativity or the self-doubt or the self-sabotage, things like that. So I'm going to keep it real with y'all. Growth doesn't just happen because you want it to. You have to put in the work. Just like I talk in this whole episode. You have to show up for yourself every single day. Remember, we talked about fixing your environment. Well, that's just part of it. You also have to fix yourself. That includes your mindset, your habits, and your decisions. So there's this quote that I read the other day, and it's so funny because when I be doing these podcasts and I be thinking of episodes and what to talk about in the episode, I always just go through Pinterest looking for quotes about what we're talking about. So of course in this we're talking about, working on yourself and doing stuff. And one of the quotes that I came by is by Jim Rohn, and it says, "Your life does not get better by chance, it gets better by change." And a lot of people don't want to put in the work to change. They just think their life is going to miraculously get better. We all wish, but that ain't how they go. You have to make the changes necessary to grow. No one else is going to do it for you. There's no magic wand. There's no love potion. There ain't no spells. None of that. Okay, whatever you believe in, I know people believe in all kinds of things. Ain't none of that going to help you. You have to put in the work. You have to do it. All right, I know I've been talking for a while, but let's move on to the practical tips that I like to give you guys in every single episode. And I know self-work can feel overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Here are a few steps that really helped me when I started my journey. Set clear, actionable goals. You need to know what it is you're working towards and how you're going to achieve it. Write it down and make a plan. So like I said, my decision was I was going to get my degree no matter how long it took me. So I wrote it down and said, Keoshia, you are going to get your degree, and this is how you're going to do it. You're going to go to community colleges first, and you're going to transfer to a 4-year college. You're going to finish that, get a good job, and then you're going to go back for your master's. And that's exactly what I did, and that's how I achieved that goal. Now, did it go as fast as I wanted it to? Did it go as in the straight path that I thought it would be? No. I did have to stop and start college. It did take me a long time. I did have to take years in between classes, but I got it done because I wrote it down and I made a plan. And when that plan didn't go the way I wanted to, I went back to what I wrote down and I reworked my plan. Develop a routine that supports your growth. Growth happens in a day-to-day, whether it's waking up early, journaling, setting time aside for your goals, whatever it is, you have to be consistent. So school. My consistency was going to class and trying to go to school at least take 1 or 2 classes a semester. Now, like I said, it didn't always work out for me. Some semesters I could only take 1. Some semesters I could only take an online come. Sometimes I had to skip a semester. But I never got discouraged. I always said there is always next semester. But the point of it was to not quit and to alter your path or alter your destination or change your path based on the obstacles or the challenges that come up in your life that we talked about in the second episode. We're going to deviate from our path. Our path isn't a straight line. It's definitely left and right, up and down in curves. And you have to be able to rework your plan based on those detours that happen in your life or those challenges or those setbacks or those problems that come up. Hold yourself accountable. That's what a lot of people don't like to hold themselves accountable. A lot of people like to excuse and tell everybody something else. This is a tough one. It's easy to make excuses, but you have to hold yourself at a higher standard. Check in with yourself regularly and make sure you're staying on track. Make sure you are looking at you in the mirror and saying, am I the problem? And if so, what can I do about it? And if you're not the problem, if not, what can I still do about it? Because just because somebody else is a problem doesn't mean there's nothing you can do about it. Doesn't mean that you can't still achieve what it is you're trying to achieve. You're just going to go about it a different way. Maybe you have to go to another person. Maybe you have to transfer schools. Maybe you have to do this. Maybe you have to do that. Whatever your circumstances is, you have to deviate sometimes to stay on track and not make the excuse that somebody else caused this problem, whether they did or not. Because at the end of the day, whether they caused the problem or not, you are the person that is affecting, so you have to figure out how to help you. Because they don't care. They don't care nothing about it. And we all know that. We've all been through it. They don't give a damn. And sometimes it's so frustrating. But at the end of the day, if you want that goal to come true, if you want to achieve whatever you want to achieve, you are the person who got to put in the work, overtime, double time, triple time. I know it's not easy. Growth is uncomfortable, messy, and sometimes painful. But here's what I want you to know. You are capable of so much more than you give yourself credit for. We all think that we can't overcome life challenges, and we've all overcame them somehow, right? But the next time we get into another challenge, we'll be like, oh, we're not going to ever make it out of this one. Give yourself credit. Give yourself credit for the times you did overcome the challenge. Give yourself credit for the times you did make it through. So just like I said in the Overcoming Challenges episode, you've already survived your worst days. So don't doubt that you have what it takes to keep growing. Don't try to fix everything all at once. Pick an area of your life that needs work. Just one, okay? Because don't be like me. I'm trying to pick 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things to fix at one time. And sometimes that is what is the challenge, the hump. Slowing down and working one problem at a time. Sometimes multitasking ain't good. Sometimes working on more than one problem at a time ain't the best. Because sometimes you can't fix one problem until you fix this problem. Because they kind of overlap each other. So just pick one. Maybe it's your finances, your health, your mindset. Focus on that this week and make small progress. Even baby steps count. The key is to start, no matter how small. All right, you guys. So before we wrap up today's episode, let's recap what we talked about. It's time to stop waiting for someone else to fix your life and start taking responsibility for your own growth. I shared a little bit about my journey and how I had to stop making excuses and get real with myself. I also gave you some practical tips to get started on your own self-care journey, setting goals, creating routines, and holding yourself accountable. So I want you to remember growth is a process. It's not going to happen overnight, but as long as you keep putting in the work, you're going to keep moving forward. Don't stop until you're proud of the person that you have become. I am rooting for you guys. You've got this. Keep it moving, keep it growing, and remember, you are more capable than you even could imagine at this moment. I want to say thank you so much for joining me today on Kandidly Keoshia. If this episode resonated with you, please hit the subscribe button. Make sure you guys leave a review and share this episode with a friend. Make sure you tune in because next week we're going to be talking about embracing the detour. Life doesn't always go as planned, but sometimes the detours lead you to the best places. You won't want to miss it. We are all in a growth journey together, and I can't wait to see you continue to rise. Until next time, keep it real and keep growing.